Well, hello there viewers, and welcome to yet another episode here on the Shamblecraft server. And you join me here on this cozy little pier outside of our base. And the reason that you join me here today is, well, we need to clean up a bit. So, as you saw in a previous episode, we had a visit from the Bamboo Fairy. And the result was, well, this. More bamboo than we'll ever need. So, today, I think what we're going to do, we're going to start by cleaning this bamboo up. Because that is sort of what this episode is going to be a little bit about. It's going to be about doing a little bit of cleanup. So, we have reached episode number something. I honestly don't know which episode this is anymore because I'm recording so much out of sequence. So, hopefully the intro said which episode this is. It's episode number whatever it said in the intro. But what the point of this episode is, as you know from the previous episodes, we have been working on a lot of projects on the server. And we have a lot of tiny bits here and there that remain unfinished. And I was thinking, well, maybe what we should do is finish some of these bits. And one of these bits is getting rid of all this bamboo. Because while free bamboo is nice, I mean, I am not a man to turn down free stuff. But this bamboo has been getting in the way while I have been trying to move around the base, and it's gotten a bit annoying. But yeah, that's what this episode is going to be about. It's going to be about cleaning up some of the bits and bobs here and there, and see if we can get a bunch of stuff taken care of. So we have some things that need finishing in the base. We have... Did I just actually... Yes, I did. We have some stuff that needs finishing inside the base. We have some stuff that needs finishing up top here. And I think today is a good day to just do a bit of spring cleaning. So, starting with the bamboo here, as I said, hopefully the top side is going to look a lot better. And once that is taken care of, I'm going to yeet those... Well, that didn't really help. I'm going to have to go back and pick up more. Because one of the other things we need to do, once we have sort of cleaned up some of this, we also need to do a little bit of building. Because if I, if I fly up and I land on this tree that we have used as a vantage point before, you will see that Sammy is doing some amazing work on making this side of the base look amazing. And then there's me. Sammy. Phali. Pretty? No. So what we need to do is we need to prettify our base a little bit, because let's be fair, as I said in the episode when I built it, this was temporary and was supposed to be part of something bigger. So I think a good place to start once we've gotten rid of that bamboo is hopefully we can get some more buildings in and make this top side look a bit more lively. Well, okay then viewers, you join me here in front of the cabin, and as you could probably tell from that little time lapse, the cabin has moved. Because while the entrance used to be pretty much right here, it is now all the way back there. And while the time-lapse didn't say anything about it, the reason is to open up some more space. So moving the cabin back here made it, I would say, fit more logically into the area, and it also allowed us to now have the exit from the water elevator inside the cabin, which should help in terms of not ending up getting yeeted into mobs whenever we leave. However, moving the cabin has also given us the opportunity to do some terraforming. We've done some prettifying of the area, and the last thing I did was I put some cobblestone here to signify where I want to put a couple of buildings. In fact, we're going to get some more cobblestone here and finish the one we didn't. So the plan is for this to sort of be a bit of an old school farm, old style farm. So there's going to be a little barn building, maybe a little storage building, and some sort of building over here, maybe a stable. Haven't really figured it out, but I mean, we could easily have this building be open and have it be a stable sort of in between the trees here. But nonetheless, we are well underway on Operation Cleaning Up the Topside Base, and I have to say, just going around here with the moss blocks and sort of prettifying it with bone meal and moss blocks has really helped already. And I have to say, and I've said this on stream and I've said it on previous videos, I really love these new azalea forests that we got with, I believe it was 117. Very happy with it. Overall think that this area now looks a lot better, even though we still have a lot of work to do. But yeah, a lot of work has been done. We've moved the cabin, we've prettified the area. So the next thing for me is I'm going to be hopping over to Plot World. I'm going to be tinkering a little bit with how I want these other buildings to look. And once I've figured that out, I will rejoin you here in the overworld so we can continue making our topside base look all nice and pretty. Well, okay then, viewers, I am going to guess that you're thinking, Phali, what's going on? Well, so the last time you saw me, I was going to hop off to Plot World and do some tinkering. And I did go to Plot World, and I didn't get any ideas. So I figured, well, why don't I do some of the other projects while I wait? So today, while I had some downtime at work, I hopped on and did a bunch of work. And you're probably thinking, what is this then? Well, what this is the river that we sort of took a look at earlier. And I did a lot of work here thinking that this is going to look great for a time lapse. And then remember that my work laptop doesn't have replay mod. But it does look great though, doesn't it? I'm very happy with it. What we have here now is there's a couple of spots I've forgotten to light up. What we have here now is actually a river that runs straight through. Well, not straight through, we need to extend it a bit here. But we have a river that nearly goes straight through the entire landscape. And while it starts off as a normal river, I have dug out the ends of it and I have covered the entire sort of bottom of the river with cyan glass. I did some tinkering. I tried with various shades of blue, etc. But I figured that cyan looked quite nice because it sort of blended in with the water from up top. So I made a bunch of cyan glass and I had just enough in my shulker box. It took nearly a full shulker box of glass to do this, but I'm very happy with how it turned out. And I'd love to tell you that the last 2 hours of it was me very quickly and easily managing to get the water to look good, but I would be lying. It was a pain in yonder's bottom. Getting the water to look properly actually probably took 3 times as long as putting in the glass. But while doing this, I've also been thinking about what I want to do over here. And I think I have an idea. So this here is going to be a barn-like building. This is going to be like a little food shell, what's it called? Food storage. In Norwegian, we call it a stabbur, as I said in the previous clip. And over here, you can see that I've actually removed the foundation, because what I want to do here, I want to finish this path first. So I want this path here that sort of cuts into Sammy's place to go down here, sort of follow this tree line, and then sort of follow this edge here, and then hit this corner. And in the sort of clearing next to it, I want to put horse stables, which means, well, building stables first of all, but also wrangling some horses. And I am going to have to go looking for them, because I honestly don't know where the closest horses are. We have a lot of animals nearby, but horses is not one of them. And now that I've done some of the work, inspiration has struck me slightly. What I want to do is sort of try and build a stable and a barn and a little building here that's going to look somewhat like this cabin in style, but like a tiny bit different. And also, I'm moving around a bit, sorry. What I also want to do is sort of clear out basically this entire area below here and just make that one giant crop field. So what we're probably going to do then is remove this sort of back line of trees. We're going to keep the front line of trees. That sort of keeps the farm a little bit hidden. We might even plant some more spruce trees over here to sort of keep this. Well, it's actually not too bad, but right here maybe we could put one or two more spruce trees in, which is where we put the acacia earlier. Because I sort of want to do what Sammy's already been doing and make this look like a farm, except that where Sammy's farm is more like natural terrain and very fancy buildings, for me it's going to be fancy terrain and natural buildings. So it's sort of going to be the yin to Sammy's yang. But I want to make a much bigger field. I feel like this looks a bit too enclosed for what we're doing here. So I want this to be sort of like a big sprawling field that covers this entire area down here. And I'm going to see if I can sort of make a path that sort of goes along the middle. And we'll try to do these sort of rows of crops with like alternating rows of potatoes and carrots. So that is the plan, really. So all that remains is to do the thing that I told you I was going to do previously. And that is I need to settle on a design for these three tiny buildings here, and after that we can start clearing out this area and get started on the big sprawling crop field. But hopefully the next thing you see now, because I'm going to be working on the proper computer, is a time lapse of these things going in. Okay then, viewers, some time has passed, and as you could probably tell from those clips there, we have gotten some work done. So if I now step outside, you will probably find that this place has changed a bit. First of all, we have finished changing up this crop field here, meaning that this is no longer just a tiny field encapsulated by some fences, but now a much bigger and more sprawling field. We've also added some more steps, and most notably, we have completed this cute little path taking us up to Sami, as well as put in a couple of buildings. So I ended up scrapping one of the buildings, so what I have put in now is this little stable, where we're going to put some horses. I put in this little barn, which is slightly different from the others in that it has less deep slate, where we are going to have a lot of storage for the various crops. And here I originally wanted to do another little building, but what I ended up doing, and I actually did this on my laptop, so I sadly wasn't included in the time lapse, what I did here was that I made a little path down here and a bridge taking us to the other side, meaning that if we ever want to put anything on this side, at least we have a sensible way to get there. And I feel like this has sort of tied this place together much more. So what we have mostly left now is this area in the back here, and I honestly haven't decided what to do with that. But very happy with the sort of simple little design I came up with for the stable, and the sort of simple little design I came up with for the barn. So overall, much happier with how it looks now. If I get up to a vantage point here, we can get a view from it for a little sort of, what do we call it, sense of how it looks now. And as you can tell, it is much more different. It is now more akin to what Sami is doing with multiple buildings, but I still feel like we could add some more bits and bobs here and there as we get the ideas. And I love how this now sort of connects with this big path that goes into this, that sort of snakes around and goes over to this side. So one thing I did consider, and I might end up building at some point, is I think it would be fun if we built like a logging area over here, where maybe we have a little hut and a saw, and maybe like a little workstation where that sort of makes it look like this is an area where we're working with the, you know, logging and cutting out the trees. But yeah, that is enough of this. We have managed to do a lot of cleaning up, and yeah, I think that is enough of this project for today. So why don't we move along to the next thing on our list? And the next thing on that list is over here at spawn. So as you can probably tell as I pan the camera around here, I'm actually going to do this, you can see it even better. There is a lot of things happening at spawn. There are some fairly insane shops that are growing up, like we have this sword in the stone type deal, which is down here. We have the balloon, we have, well, the amazingness that is Elven's floating island, which is a tree shop. So for those of you who don't understand the reference here, Elven actually spent a lot of his previous season on the server Squidcraft, basically completely custom terraforming a end island, which is an absolutely amazing project. I was lucky enough to be invited to have a look at it, and it just looks completely insane. And yeah, it sort of joins the ranks of the Danville, Norway, Sparkle Death Road corporation and all the various insanity that they're coming up with. But yeah, can't wait to see this. I might even take Elven up on an order there for some of those custom trees. But the reason we are here, this seems fishy, the reason we are here is because there's one thing that I feel we haven't done yet this season, despite being at, if I'm not mistaken, episode 15 by now. Apologies. And that is that we need to build a shop. You see, for those of you who remember the previous episodes, you will know that we have dug out what can only be described as an absolute insane amount of deep slate. More deep slate than any human of sound mine is ever going to need. So my question is, where do we want to build a deep slate shop? A shop that sells deep slate, both cobbled and regular, and where people can sort of... I mean, let's be fair, deep slate is a pain in yonder's backside to mine. Actually, I'm going to have to go up top here and see if I can get an overview. So I'm thinking, where could we potentially fit a deep slate shop? And I'm thinking maybe in this area here. I'm going to land on the roof of the Pathfinder's Guild. There is an area here. Ooh, this is a pile of deep slate. I have a suspicion that this might be a deep slate shop already. Well, if so, it needs restocking. So what I think we can do is actually consider doing one. So we have a lovely little area right here, which as far as I can tell hasn't been used for anything. You have this glorious little area in the background. So it would be nice, maybe we could build a very small little shop here. It doesn't have to be big. It doesn't have to be complex. And I think having it next to TR's Trident shop would be nice. Sort of keeping all the Nordic shops in one spot here. So I'm thinking, yeah, actually maybe right here. I think right here, just sort of carving into the terrain next to the Phali head here. Because... or is this part of the terraforming for this? That's the thing that I'm worried about. I think maybe we would be encroaching a tiny bit. So what if we go over here? Are there any good spots over here? That's the leather bar. Then we're getting all the way over here. We have the slime balls. I'm thinking maybe... is this just a public farm? Yeah, this is just a public farm. Okay, so... and I don't want to... oh, wow. You see, the problem is I don't get to visit spawn often enough. So, yeah, spawn is looking absolutely amazing. But what we really need to do is we need to find a spot where we could potentially put a little deep slate shop. And I'm thinking... maybe we're going to have to move to this side because it looks a bit crowded. While over here, this is where Bookie has been working. This is a bit interesting. I haven't spent enough time at spawn, and now we are being punished with not being able to find a spot. Maybe right here? Swap meet. I'm thinking right here, actually. Next to the swap meet. It's a picnic place. District Diamonds, not a shop area. Okay, I'm thinking actually right here. Because... Shamblecraft swap meet. I think right here, right next to the swap meet, there's this lovely little area right down here. I'm actually thinking this is where we're going to do it. So... do we have any signs on us? No, we don't. What I'm going to do then, I think this is going to be a good place for the shop. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to get a sign. I'm going to mark off the area, tinker a bit with ideas, and hopefully the next thing you see is a short and sweet little time lapse of the deep slate shop being built. And just like that, we have our little shop. And I am proud to declare open the Deep Slate Shack. Our prices are... I didn't really know what to charge. I asked them voice, and they weren't that helpful, honestly. But I've settled on 4 stacks per diamond. And what I did, I popped back to the base, and I picked up what I had there. So now we have about 2 barrels full of cobble deep slate, just shy of 2 barrels of regular deep slate, and I've also packed a bunch of them in shulker boxes. So you now have these standard pink shulker boxes, or magenta shulker boxes, whatever you want to call them, that contain cobble deep slate, and I got the light grey ones containing uncobble deep slate, and you can get them for 8 diamonds per box, which comes out to I think it's pretty much that, and then you charge 5. I think I figured out what I do is it's basically slightly cheaper than that, and then you get a box for 5 diamonds, and it's not too bad of a deal, but I can potentially change that. But that is a lovely little shop, and I tried my best sort of to prettify it around it. As you could probably tell, I tried to terraform this hill a little bit, and I've added some moss and tried to make it a little pretty. And I think what we're going to do, actually, we're going to light up this alleyway a little bit, because it's a tad dark here, honestly. So now, as you go through the park here, you get a nice little picnic area, you get the Shamblecraft swap meet, and if you keep going, you get to the calcite shop, which is right here, and you get to the Deep Slate Shack. Now, originally I wanted to build it here. I even started marking it out, but then I realised there would be no way for me to do that without blocking Darth's shop right here. So I figured, well, what I'm going to do, though, I'm just going to move it to this side, and I did some terraforming instead. But yeah, that is the shop, and this is now hopefully going to be a good way for us to get rid of some of that excess deep slate, which has been really clogging up our chests. So yeah, hopefully that's going to help a bit getting rid of some of that deep slate. But yeah, that is a lot of things done for the day. This episode has already taken ages for me to make, so yeah, I think this is actually a good place to call it a night for this episode. So thank you very, very much for watching. Once again, apologies for the delay between episodes, but it has been extremely busy and stressful for me the last couple of weeks, so I have been struggling a bit finding the motivation to play and to record, but I'm trying my best to at least get a little work done, and hopefully now that things are improving IRL, I'm going to be able to get a little more excited about this and get back to the swing thing. Also, if you haven't already, make sure you go check out the Nether Hub contest. Currently, voting is ongoing on the server. Voting closes tomorrow, Friday. This episode coming out on a Thursday. So make sure you go and vote. And in the next episode, I will be covering the Nether Hub and how that is going to end up looking. But yeah, that is it for me. Thank you very, very much for watching. And I will catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.